FC Barcelona are in crisis mode after a shocking 4-0 humiliation against Atlético Madrid in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg. Tensions exploded at the training ground as Hansi Flick held a heated meeting with his players, questioning their attitude, intensity, and tactical discipline. But that's not all. The squad reportedly pushed back, criticizing Flick's high defensive line and pressing system, especially without key stars like Rafinha and Pedri. Is there a tactical rift inside the dressing room? Meanwhile, Barcelona are taking drastic action after losing wonderkid Pedro Fernandez to Paris Saint-Germain, and concerns are growing over the poor form of fullbacks Jules Koundé and Alejandro Balde. But here's the twist. The Barca dressing room still believes in a historic comeback at home. Can they repeat their legendary European miracle nights? Stay tuned as we break down the drama, the tactical battle, and whether Barcelona can pull off the impossible. Hansi Flick and Barcelona players held a tense meeting after Atlético Madrid defeat, report. FC Barcelona suffered a heavy blow in their recent clash against Atlético Madrid, falling 4-0 in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-final. With such a deficit, the Catalan side faces a huge challenge ahead of the second leg. The performance on the day left plenty to be desired, and the team is now going through a period of self-assessment and reflection. According to The Athletic, this led to an unexpected meeting at Barcelona's training ground on Friday, where Hansi Flick sat down with the players to discuss what went wrong and how to move forward. In this meeting, both the sides criticized one another. The German coach sternly questioned the players' attitude and intensity, especially during the first half of that game. On the other hand, the players also openly talked to the trainer and aired their concerns about his tactics, as they believed holding a high line and high press were not the best ideas in the current circumstances, especially in the absence of key players like Rafinha and Pedri. The players did not want the whole approach to be discarded, but wanted more pragmatism in bigger matches. For now, it remains to be seen what implications this meeting will have on the Barcelona team. Hopefully, it will only allow the two parties to take in one another's ideas and work out a good balance going forward. Barcelona taking steps to avoid a repeat of the DRO case in the future, report. FC Barcelona bid goodbye to promising teenage wonderkid Pedro Fernandez during the January transfer window. The 18-year-old La Masia graduate, who had made his first-team breakthrough earlier this season under Hansi Flick, signed for French champions PSG in the winter. Diarra's contract had a €6 million release clause, and he decided to make use of it to secure a move away, even though in the end PSG ended up paying Barca around €8.5 million, thanks to the good relationship between the two clubs. Barcelona taking measures. Given how things turned out, Barcelona are intent on avoiding a repeat of the DRO case in the future, reports RAC1. To that end, the La Liga champions are already taking measures to ensure that the scenario does not happen again. As part of their strategy, Barca have temporarily halted renewals for youth talents at the academy as they seek to increase the release clause amounts inserted into their deals. From now on, any player who debuts for the juvenile U19 side will have a release clause of €6 million in his contract. Meanwhile, a debut for the reserve team, Barça Athletic, will see the release clause amount rise to €10 million. And in case an academy player makes his first team debut for Barcelona, his release clause will be set at €100 million. If these steps had been in place earlier, Diarra's clause would have been €100 million and not €6 million, which would have dissuaded PSG from making a move for him in January. Prior to Diarra, Barca also lost Marc Guiu to Chelsea under similar circumstances. As such, they wish to rectify it and are already making moves to ensure there is no repeat in the future. Barcelona growing concerned about the form of their fullbacks. FC Barcelona are still reeling from their disappointing defeat to Atlético Madrid on Thursday night in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-final. It was a performance to forget for the Blaugrana, especially in the defensive line, as they ended up shipping 4 goals within the first 45 minutes. Concerns about the fullbacks. Now, according to Sport, there is one issue that causes concern within Barcelona due to its repetition: the lapses being made by the fullbacks. The performance of the two starting fullbacks, Jules Koundé and Alejandro Balde, was very poor against Atlético Madrid. Within the Catalan club, this is seen as a recurring issue. If in the last season the displays of Koundé were beyond reproach and he excelled in attacking duties, this campaign he is far from that level. He has not found consistency and above all, his defensive performances are below expectations. In the case of Balde, there is also a degree of concern regarding his defensive level. His tracking back against Atlético left much to be desired, and both tactically and in terms of intensity in duels, he showed that he is not going through a confident period. The Spanish fullback is viewed as a long-term project on the left flank at Barcelona, but more is expected of him. No one doubts the status of either Bald or Count. Their place in the starting 11 is not under immediate threat either. Moreover, Joao Cancelo and Gerard Martin are purely seen as backups in the fullback positions. As such, the coaching staff will continue working to recover the best version of both Count and Bald, which is essential for facing important fixtures as the business end of the season nears. Barcelona dressing room still believing in a comeback in Copa del Rey semi-final. FC Barcelona are facing a massive challenge ahead of the second leg of their Copa del Rey semi-final against Atlético Madrid on March 3rd. After suffering a heavy 4-0 defeat in the first leg, the odds are clearly stacked against the Catalan side. For most teams, overturning such a large deficit would seem almost impossible. The first match was a huge disappointment, and Barcelona were far from their usual level. However, despite the difficult situation, the mood inside the dressing room remains surprisingly positive. Reports from Mundo Deportivo suggest that the players genuinely believe they can stage a comeback in the return leg. The squad has not given up hope and is determined to fight until the very end. The dressing room has several reasons for such optimism. For instance, they have won 12 matches by a margin of 4 or more goals since Hansi Flick's arrival, and scoring 4 goals against Atlético would be enough for them to force extra time. Similarly, key players like Rafinha, Pedri and Marcus Rashford, who were all absent in this first leg, are all expected to be available for the second leg, which can prove to be differential for Barcelona. Furthermore, the fact that they will be playing at home, where they have won 14 out of 15 matches in all competitions this season. The players also remember how their team turned things around against Paris Saint-Germain in the UCL back in 2017, and all these factors provide enough reason for the Barcelona players to remain optimistic despite the scoreline from the first half. Barcelona are facing one of their biggest tests under Hansi Flick. Internal tensions, tactical doubts, defensive struggles and transfer lessons learned, everything is on the line. But football is built on belief, and this squad still trusts they can overturn the 4-0 deficit against Atlético Madrid at home. With key players returning and pride at stake, the second leg could define Barcelona's entire season. Will it be redemption, or another painful chapter? Let me know in the comments. Can Barca complete the comeback? Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications for all the latest Barcelona updates.